Listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.
Oh, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to For Your Distraction Podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
We're here.
We're here. We're not queer, but, you know, get used to it regardless. So,
Okay, so wow, it's been like a whirlwind right now.
a little bit. So, to pull the curtain back just a tad bit, you basically, like, showed up because you were at a party tonight. Super late show, and we basically just hit record and
We
stream.
did.
We were like, all right, let's go.
There's no prep.
Very
no
little talking about.
just-
Well, because we know what's going to happen. We're going to talk about something that happened in the world recently. We get the brackets. We got to get to.
We got the next round of the Adams.
We got Chorus Cinema. We got a full plate. Let's just fucking go.
I couldn't call off. I had a lot going on tonight. A good friend of mine, Jessie. It was her surprise 40th birthday party, and we went to a winery out in, I guess, halfway in between Akron and Cleveland. Saw some really good friends I haven't seen in a long time. It was a nice night. We're drinking, having merriment. And I, said, you know what? I got to make it to the show. We got a lot going on. We got Adam's March Madness movie bracket.
We can't be skipping.
I'm here, just a little bit late. Just a little late.
You walked in. I was laying on the couch just watching TV. Pretty much is what it was. So I was relaxing.
You
is what I was doing.
You were just
I
chilling.
was out. I had a few drinks, and then I got your text, but like, hey, I'm gonna, because it was up in the air whether or not you were gonna make it tonight. You're like, dude, it's gonna be a thing. I might be back at 10. I might not be back till like 2 a.m. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. And so like I was like, all right, cool. So I'm sitting here chilling. I had a few drinks, and then all of a sudden I got your text. Hey, I'm gonna be back at 11. So I was like, okay, cool. So I stopped drinking then because I'm like, I'm not gonna be wasted by the time the show starts, because
why not?
Because I got to do all the prep work. I got to move all the equipment. I got to plug it. I got to make sure everything's working correctly. So I was like, all right, cool. So I'm back to drinking though.
Back to drinking.
Back to drinking.
I can tell you've been drinking.
A little bit, yeah.
I like it.
Little few drinks.
I like the energy. I like where you are. I need to.
Before we get, because it's gonna be like we said, a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We got a lot of. We're spinning a lot of plates, juggling a lot of balls. Before we get before we get into the main meat of the show, because like, look, there's double entendres all over this mess right now. Obviously, we got brackets, Queer Cinema, but there's one thing I feel like we
stroke the shaft,
exactly
work the pipe, swallow the gravy. Get it over here, buddy. Let's do this.
Oh yeah, there's one thing we do have to talk about. We have to talk about it because it's something big that happened.
You're all smiles.
Politically related.
You're all smiles.
And typically, like, we'd like to keep these things to the, Patreon episodes, bonus episodes.
Yeah, follow us on Patreon.
Patreon.com/4distraction. $1 a month to hear us talk about this. We're trying to keep, but this is too big to not talk about, dude. Fucking Signalgate. That's what they're calling it. That's what they're calling it. Signalgate. You know what happened, Scott?
I do, Adam. It's really funny.
It's really funny. And it's really funny the mental gymnastics the supporters are like trying to make excuses for.
It's bad. It's
for those of you that are hermits, that don't have the internet, that have been living under a rock and don't have the news, our illustrious leaders, essentially, they planned like a military bombing of the Houthi, and they decided that when they were going through these plans, the big leaders, and when they were going back for this, they were going back for to see what was going on with the plans, they decided to use this application called Signal.
right. I didn't know what Signal was.
Neither did I. Apparently, I imagine it's like a Snapchat type messaging service where it's like.
I don't think it's like Snapchat. I use the app GroupMe.
Yeah.
I have friends from my fantasy football league, and friends from a little bit further away. We just have our group messenger on this app called GroupMe. And there's lots of other ones too. But there's one apparently called Signal, and it's just...
I call it a Snapchat-like thing because it deletes messages like after the fact. Like Snapchat, if you take a snap and you send it to somebody, it deletes that photo.
Right.
That's what Signal does. Okay. I guess the messages stay on the server for like a month, but like the messages, like they delete themselves after the fact, after the conversation. So that's why it's kind of like Snapchat a little bit. And so it's Pete Hegseth, Walls, Tulsi Gabbard.
Walls?
Waltz. Sorry, Waltz. What's his name? Waltz.
Vance?
No. Vance wasn't involved in this at all.
I thought JD Vance was in the Signal app.
He might have been in it. He might have. I think he was in it, but
Elon Musk was not on it. Neither was Donald Trump. Correct?
No, it was fucking what's his name? Waltz. What's his first name? I can't remember his first name. I'm looking it up right now.
Great. I know Pete Hegseth is the one who set it up.
Mike Waltz.
Waltz.
Yeah. So Pete Hegseth, from what I understand, he was supposed to be the one that set it up.
Yeah.
But all the blame is being thrown on Mike Waltz because from what they're saying that he's actually the one that set it up, not Pete.
Oh, Waltz set up?
So he's kind of like the main perpetrator of like where they're shifting all the blame to right now. Basically, those three plus I think like 15 other people were involved in this chat, like high level like government officials,
Joint Chiefs and stuff.
Yeah, like we're involved in this chat where they were basically doling out the plans for like, okay, like here's this happen, like the bombing plans, like here's when it's happening, here's who they're going after, here's the equipment being used.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, this editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, I can't remember his name either. Who's the editor-in-chief of Atlantic? The Atlantic editor-in-chief. Hold on.
The Atlantic has really been breaking
Jeffrey
some
Goldberg.
stores.
Jeffrey Goldberg.
Yeah, Jeff Goldberg.
Jeff Goldberg. So
not Jeff Goldblum.
I said
we'll
Goldberg.
talk about him later.
I said Goldberg.
You did. I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, okay. So basically, like he found his way into this Signal group and he started getting pings for messages. The entire time he's like getting these pings for message for like active like military things that are going on. Here's the plans. Okay, launch now. Confirmed target is on site. But like all this like should be classified shit. And he's taking screenshots the entire time. Mind you, like nobody knew he was on here somehow. Unless there was somebody that was like working on the inside, like included him on purpose to like do some like espionage kind of stupid bullshit. Regardless, this journalist is involved in the basically military plans for this active attack that is going on. And at first he was like, from what I understand, what he said was like, I didn't know, like, is this legit? Like, is it really going on now? Like, I know what's going on. And then like 30 minutes after the chat was going on, like the news hit like the social media forums of like the aftermath of the attack and like the sense he's like, oh, okay, this shit is real. And kudos to Goldberg. He didn't like immediately like put everything out there. He dotted his T's and crossed his I's. He got in contact with like legitimate people. It's like, look, I've got these messages. I don't want to put it out there if it's classified. Like, I'm not trying to do anything illegal, but like, this is some fucking fucked up shit. And then it came out that he had these messages and the balls, because if you remember when Pete Hegseth was like first announced as like Secretary of Defense, he was basically like paraphrasing here, but he's like, the fuck ups of the past are over. Like, now we've got legitimate like professional people involved, blah, blah, blah. Cut to like 3 months later and like,
this is a big boner.
And this is a big fucking deal. No matter what you're listening to, fuck the White House press secretary, that fucking bitch. Fuck her. Like, they're all trying to play it off. First, they lied about it. They were pulled in front of Congress. Waltz, Tulsi Gabbard, and FBI director. What's his name? The dude that wrote the Trump book. The Trump children's book. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know his name.
Who's the director of FBI? Kash Patel. They were all called in front of Congress to testify about all this because I guess Kash Patel is involved in it too. And they were all like playing the typical card of like dodging the questions every single time. Like they would ask a question like, was this classified? Like clearly this is classified because look at all the messages, and they were like playing the dodgeball questions and everything like that. I thought the funniest part of this entire story was while the White House was confirming that these messages were classified and that these messages happened, Pete Hegseth was on the tarmac outside of his plane telling the press none of this happened, like denying any of it ever happened, at the same time that the White House was confirming that it happened. At the same fucking time.
This is an episode of Veep. I know I've said that before, but this is something that would have happened on the show Veep. Did you watch Veep?
No. I know of it, but I didn't watch it, no.
Yeah. It was just really just a bumbling idiot making a mistake that is so heinous.
Not only that, but like two things. Number one, the mental gymnastics that MAGA has tried jumble through to justify why it's either A, not a big deal, or B, it's a good thing. Like, I've heard MAGA people say, like, hey, you know what this is? This is just transparency. This is what we wanted in the... It's not what this fucking is.
These are the same people that 8 short years ago absolutely crucified Hillary Clinton for having sensitive documents or sensitive emails on her private server. And they just lambasted her for that. That is a big reason why she lost the 2016 election. Yeah. And
mind you,
frankly,
before anybody says, okay, well, like Hillary did the same thing, so why is it a big deal? First of all, Hillary was investigated. Mm-hmm. She went through all the shit that you had to do for like her shit was all like wet. They combed the desert. We ain't found shit. That was the end result of basically, it was like, okay, yeah, like she had some stuff in her she shouldn't have had, but it was on a private server and like, it wasn't like like anybody had access to it. This is different. This is a platform. Signal is a platform that was deemed by the government unsecure.
Yes.
It is an unsecure platform.
It's a third party. It's a third-party application.
It being a third party doesn't have anything to do with it. It's the fact that it was
My point is that it's less secure than a private server. And listen, I'm not. Hillary Clinton was wrong, and she admitted that. Yeah, she was wrong.
She should have been investigated
for having that stuff on her private server. It was, and she admitted it was a mistake. It wasn't intentionally done. She was thoroughly over the top investigated. Yeah. And it pretty much is the reason why she lost the election. This is worse than that, Adam. It is significantly worse than what sunk Hillary Clinton.
This wasn't
this isn't a big deal. The MAGA cultists are just, the hypocrisy is astounding. Each and every time it gets worse and worse. You like to call it moving the field goal posts? Yeah. It's wild, and I shouldn't be surprised. It's just the hits keep coming.
So Pam Bondi, who's the current attorney general, there were a lot of questions being asked of her of like, hey, are we going to investigate this? Like, are you guys going to investigate what happened? Like, at the bare minimum, open an investigation. The only response she's had is basically like pro-Trump response. It's like Pam Bondi, clearly we knew this before she took this position, but she's clearly like pro-Trump. She's not going to be unbiased at all in this. She's basically saying that there's not going to be an investigation, that this is just what's amazing is within a couple days you had Waltz on like Fox News and a number of other people in other interviews not only denying that it was a big deal, but turning it around to Goldberg and saying he's a loser fucking journalist.
They've been attacking him.
Have been attacking as if he did anything. As if he fucking he literally said
he is a journalist. That is his job to report the news.
But not just that. Like they're making it seem like somehow it's his fault he was involved in the conversation. Goldberg said, not Goldberg, Walt said on the Fox News interview, Like when she was asking, like, well, how did it happen? Blah, blah, like, well, some of these applications, you're adding a bunch of people. I guess he just kind of got sucked into the conversation. I'm thinking about him watching, like, that's not the fucking way it works. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. I'm sorry, it's not. You can't just suck somebody into the conversation. It's on timer. I'll fix that. Okay. You can't just suck somebody into a conversation randomly like that. That's not how this shit works. It's mind-boggling. It's fucking, like, I get it. Okay, they're gonna do what they can. I will say this, kudos, because I've seen some videos and some other people talking about it. There are, and it's few and far between, obviously, but there have been people who are talking about, like, I've got neighbors who used to have MAGA flags out there. The past couple of days, they took their flags down.
Well, I mean, the election's over.
But no,
they've been take them down.
Yeah, but they've been. I know. But you know what I'm saying.
There's people who live by us, that I've seen either a Trump flag or a Trump sign that has been out at their house since 2015. For 10 freaking years, they have not taken it down. And yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
those people are idiots. They're in a cult. It is a cult.
Yeah, This is so bad. It's so bad because here's the thing with the Hillary stuff, like she had, even if somebody could get access to it, the stuff that was on that server was not an active military operation that was currently going on. This was an active military operation that was currently going on. And before anybody sits there and says, well, how do we know if it's classified? Motherfucker, we got the receipts. Goldberg, and here's the thing, he was smart about it. After these people testified in front of Congress saying none of it was classified, he's like, I guess if it's not classified, here you go, people. And he just fucking released them all. And he didn't release them all. There's still some that he hasn't released yet.
What happens now?
Fucking nothing.
Nothing.
Fucking
that's the
nothing.
Thing. That's what I was going to say. Like, none of these people involved are going to be held accountable.
Waltz might lose his job. He might.
That's a big might.
That's a big might.
He should. You're right.
They should all lose their job. Hexas should lose their job. Gabbard should lose their job. Like, Walt should lose his job.
Right.
100% they should all lose. Everybody involved, high-ranking officials should lose their job. There are people that are making excuses for them.
Somebody's got to go to jail.
Yeah. There are people that are making excuses for them, like, oh, maybe they didn't know what was going on. Maybe they weren't aware that Signal was like a app that wasn't like, supposed to be used by the government because, you know how it is when you have like these high-end people and they've got like assistants. Maybe it was just an app that was just like put on their phones and put on their computers and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself, if you're somebody who's in the NSA or the Department of Defense, you should know the protocol for what you're allowed to communicate with and what you're not. If anything, that is what you should know. We're not talking about some fucking CEO of fucking Whole Foods or something like that who just has an assistant that put an app on his computer. You're the fucking NSA. You're the Department of Defense.
These people, they have
incompetent.
They have Gen Z interns who work for them that are in charge of their social media because these old farts don't know how to turn on an iPhone. So they have a lot of people who work for them that could tell them, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
And they still do it.
Even if they didn't have anybody that told them not to do that, they're the heads of the departments of the largest branch of one of the largest branches of the government. Like, you don't get much higher than Secretary of Defense, head of the NSA. You don't get much higher than that. At the bare minimum, you should know which applications you're allowed to talk on and which ones you're not. A memo was set out at some point. Fucking read it.
This entire administration, from top to bottom, is utterly incompetent.
Yes.
And it is apparent, and it has been that way. It was that way for the first administration, and we knew what we were getting ourselves into.
The difference in the first administration was there was actual people that were competent who he kept firing because they were disagreeing with him and they were actually fighting back with him. This is different. He bought nothing but yes people who have no fucking idea what they're doing. This is a little different. Trump didn't even know what happened. He claimed to not know what happened. He didn't even know there was an attack going on. When it was a journalist brought it up to him during like one of the Oval Office interviews. He brought up like, I don't know. He basically didn't even know what was going on. He didn't know what Signal was. He didn't know any of this stuff. He didn't know any of this stuff was going on at all. Fucking incompetence.
You are fired up about
I
this.
am. Because
I haven't seen you this fired up about
I'm fired up about it, not because it happened. I'm fired up about it because of all the fucking idiots out there that are making excuses for this. They're making excuses for this. Literally, not a decade ago, like you brought up, Hillary went through the same fucking thing, and they were all like freaking out about it. All these people know that if Harris had won and she had done this, they'd be hanging nooses outside the fucking White House. That's what pisses me off.
I mean, they've
all
done
these
that
people
before.
Right. But like all these people that are blindly ignorant. Kudos to the few people that are like, this is the last straw. Okay. Very few.
That's very few.
If you're one of those people, great. But if you're still somebody that's like make excuses, well, you know, here's the thing about no, I'm sorry, not. People could have died if this information had accidentally gotten to the wrong people. Soldiers' lives could have fucking died.
I am nowhere near as fired up about this as you are. Like
It's insane.
Like it's really not. It's really not at all. This is the world we live in now. This is a regular Saturday.
I can't accept it.
You have to.
I'm not, because when you accept it, then that's when it.
But it's good.
You can't accept it.
This is par for the course with this administration. This stuff has been happening. It's going to continue to happen. You've got 4 long years of this. Buckle up, baby. Elections have consequences. Donald Trump won the election.
4 years is a long time, dude. We'll see about that. Something big's gonna happen before that, I think.
I mean, okay. I don't see it happening at all. I see us struggling. I see the prices of everything is still ridiculously high.
Yeah.
What happened to Trump fixing that on day one? Didn't happen. In fact, things are getting worse.
Yes.
Things are not getting better. They're getting worse. Things are not good.
I'll say the one bright light that I've had this whole week, I saw Elon Musk crying in an interview basically about the fact that people are firebombing his dealerships and protesting
Oh my God,
his dealerships and his stocks
I love it.
going
I love
down.
it.
Like he was calling people that are doing that evil. He was calling, and then he looked like he was ready to cry, and I was like, I love this for him so much.
So tonight,
I don't condone violence, but I love it for him so much.
Went to this party. We went to this winery tonight. We parking lot. We parked next to a Cybertruck, and Kristen was driving. I said, Kristen, find a different parking spot. I don't want this thing to blow up while we're parked next to it. And Pat was with us, and we all look at each other. She's like, "You're right." we moved, got into a different spot. Like it's bad. Elon Musk is an idiot. Donald Trump is an idiot. JD Vance is an idiot.
Fucking Vance was in Greenland this past week.
Did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
How he was surprised how cold it was.
Yeah.
Okay, he's my age. Did you know that? JD Vance is 40 years old. He's a man. He's 40. He's the same age as me. His birthday he was born at the beginning of August in 1984. I was born at the end of August, 1984.
You guys are like practically the exact same age.
I think I'm 20 days younger than him. Like, we're the same age.
Well, that's why he's accomplished more than you have, obviously, because that 20 days makes a difference.
Makes a big difference. But at any rate, I think I'm doing just fine. Okay, the whole world doesn't hate me like they hate him.
Fair enough.
So that's good.
Fair enough.
But he went to Greenland. He stayed for, 20 minutes? And got back on the plane
like a couple
and left.
hours, basically.
A couple hours. And he didn't leave the airport. And he made the comment, he's like, I didn't know how cold it was. Motherfucker, you are 40 years old. I know for a fact, because you're my age, you grew up watching the Mighty Ducks 2. You learned in the Mighty Ducks 2, D2, where Gordon Bombay is going out on the date with the chick from Iceland, and she explains to him, actually, Iceland is quite nice.
Yeah.
It's Greenland that's covered with ice. Like, you learn that then. If this guy is my age and didn't watch D2, he didn't grow up on Disney movies, that's why he's a piece of shit.
Yeah. I think I learned that in the Venture Brothers or something like that. I think something in there.
Everyone should know that the Vikings did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Because the Vikings lived in Iceland, and they didn't want people moving to Iceland. So they named it Iceland. Greenland is a piece of crap, ice, cold, snowy. So they flipped them. They flipped the names. They flipped them.
Not only that, but this administration keeps, especially when JD Vance like was there talking, like I caught a little bit of what he was talking about. They're really doubling down on the idea that no. Greenland wants us to take them.
They do not.
There's incompetence going on in Greenland. The people of Greenland are tired of being ruled by Denmark. They want it. We're liberating them. They want us. Like, this is, we're living in fascism. This is pure fascism. For anybody out there, and I said this before, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, but we'll move on to the bracket after this. But last thing I'm going to say about this, there's a lot of people out there, I said this before in a previous episode, I was having a conversation with somebody on Facebook about it where they're like, hey, guess what? You know, I hate everything Donald Trump's doing and everything like that, but it's all constitutional. Fucking tell me where any of this is constitutional. None of this is constitutional. He literally talked about this past week. Mike Johnson talked about this past week about possibly dismantling the fucking judiciary area because, like, the federal court judges keep blocking his executive order.
Yes.
Which is what is supposed to happen. This is the checks and balances.
Yes.
And all this is guess what?
This is a court that is overwhelmingly controlled by conservative, Trump-appointed Republican judges. And they're still blocking him. Yes.
This is one of the look it up in history, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the first things that Hitler did when he rose to power. He dismantled the fucking judiciary system so they couldn't fucking block his shit. This is one of the first things in fascism. This is literally, you're watching fascism. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Fascism doesn't happen overnight. It's a long fucking trail of just decisions that are made to dismantle shit. All right? Anybody out there who's like, well, you know, it's bad, but this isn't like Hitler bad. Say that again in 4 years when we don't have an election. That's my hot take. Where's my sunglasses? That's my hot take. My sunglasses.
What's your hot take? Say it again.
I was ill prepared. Fascism doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow fucking roll.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my hot take. Shouldn't be a hot take, but it is. I had a better one on my phone. But anyway, I'm done talking about it. Let's move on to fun shit.
My gosh.
Fun shit.
Sorry about that. I had to let him roll. You know,
I gotta roll sometimes, man. I gotta roll.
Scott. Did we give up when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Germans? Let him go. He's rolling. Little Animal House action for you. Speaking of movies,
Ayo.
Let's get off of this bullshit and let's get into the good stuff. Adam, it is time for the round of 32 in the Adams March Madness movie bracket. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. I've been ready.
See,
I've been ready.
We did tell everyone that, you know, next week when you get here, we're going to have nice little graphics for you. We still don't have that, and that's okay.
I've been putting more work into making the TikToks. I've been putting more work into that at the moment. I meant to have something better prepared, but I didn't. Womp womp.
That's okay. So,
you know what all this means is I'm going to have something prepared for future brackets that are more important. Right now, we got like 30 plus movies involved in this. We got to break it down to the MVPs. We got to break it down to the most important fucking movies that exist. And that's when they're going to get the shining star. They're going to get the moonlight. They're going to get the spotlight 100%. That's the graphics that are going to happen. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, we get through tonight's round of 32 and we get to the Sweet 16. In the Sweet 16, we will have graphics and we'll be ready to go. We'll be more prepared. So, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Adam, I'm excited for this.
What's round one?
Now you're a little bit more prepared. Last week was so awesome because I caught you with your pants down. Tonight, you kind of know. You kind of know what's happening.
I have an idea. I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't remember any of the verses that are coming up.
Great. I want you to forget about that.
Yeah, I purposely didn't memorize them because I want to be surprised.
The round of 32. We're going to start in the sci-fi bracket, Adam.
Remember, for anybody out there who are just joining us for this one, these are just my picks. That's the defining winner in this one. Okay,
we're doing a March Madness style, like the basketball tournament.
Oh yeah,
but with movies. And I made the bracket up of just random movies, and Adam has to pick which one he thinks wins. It could be the movie that he thinks is better. It could be the movie that he likes more, or it could just be whatever the hell he wants. It's his choice. But he's ultimately going to pick a champion.
It's Adam's choice.
That's right.
Much better movie than Sophie's choice. Let's do it, Scott.
We're in the sci-fi region, and we're going to start out the number 1 seed, the heavy favorite, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. It's taking on the 8th seed, Back to the Future Part 2.
This is a slam dunk, Scott. This is a layup. It's a half-court shot. This is all the way at the end. This is a 3-throw. T2. T motherfucking 2.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day moves on.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Look, I love Back to the Future. It don't beat T2. It don't. No, sir.
Moving on to our next matchup in the sci-fi region. We've got the 12th seed that pulled a big upset, The Fifth Element. And they're taking on the 4th seed, Avatar.
Avatar. I love me some Avatar. I love me some Fifth Element. We talked about it last week, back before the dawn of streaming. When Avatar came out, I had the DVD, and that was fucking rolling all the time in my DVD player because it was so good. However, it's not better than the Fifth Element. I'm going Fifth Element. Gary Oldman, Bruce Willis, Chris Tucker. I love every moment. I will rewatch the Fifth Element significantly more than Avatar. It's so good.
That is another upset. The Fifth Element is a 12th seed. They are starting to look like our Cinderella of the tournament. We'll see how that turns out.
Got that glass slipper. Let's go.
Moving on. We've got the 6th seed, Starship Troopers.
That's a good one.
They are taking on the number 3 seed, Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back.
This is one matchup I do remember. I do remember whenever I was looking up the because I attempted to do the photos.
Yeah.
I do remember this matchup, and I was thinking about it all day. This is one I was actually thinking about all day, which one I would pick, because
These
here's
are
the
two
thing.
you love both of these.
Empire is a fantastic movie, but Starship Troopers plays a special right here in my soul, right here in my heart. But it's got to be Empire. Empire is a much better movie than Starship. Look, Starship Troopers is a fun movie to watch, but Empire is so good. Empire wins out.
Empire moves on. And we got our last matchup in the sci-fi region. We've got Star Wars Return of the Jedi taking on that was the 7th seed. The 7th seed, Star Wars Return of the Jedi, takes on the 2 seed, The Matrix.
The Matrix. I got a choice here. Well, obviously I have a choice here, but I've got a decision to make. I can either pick The Matrix and let it go on, or I can pick Star Wars and have a Star Wars v. Star Wars kind of matchup in the future. I got to think about which movie I enjoy watching more, though. So, here's what I'm going to do. I love Star Wars. I love the first Matrix movie. I'm going Return of the Jedi, though. I'm going Return of the Jedi. We're going to have a Star Wars v. Star Wars next week.
That's going to be huge for next week.
I love The Matrix, but Return of the Jedi, as much as I hate the Ewoks beating the Empire, it's still a fucking classic movie.
Wow. You've surprised me on a few of these already, so.
I'm hoping I did.
We're going to move on to the action bracket, the action region. And we've got the number 1 seed, Dr. Jones, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
That's a good one.
It takes on the number 9 seed, Lord of the Rings and the Two Towers.
Oh, that's tough. This one,
Last Crusade versus
tough.
Two Towers.
Because Last Crusade might be my favorite Indiana Jones. But mostly because I love Sean Connery. And Sean Connery's in that. They named the dog Indiana. That might be my favorite Indiana Jones. But Two Towers, Lord of the Rings, I think that's my favorite Lord of the Rings. So we got a problem here. We got a conundrum. What to do? I think.
It's your pick.
I think I'm going to pick Two Towers. I'm going to pick Two Towers because I think I enjoy watching that more. Look, Last Crusade's fun to watch, but I love a lot of really good like action packed, and that has one of the best battle scenes I've seen in Lord of the Rings. Battle for Helm's Deep.
All right. Moving on. We've got the number 5 seed, Independence Day, taking on the number 4 seed, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I hate to say this is an easy layup. I really do. I really hate to say it's an easy layup, but it's definitely Independence Day.
Ooh,
it's definitely Independence Day for me. I love Raiders of the Lost Ark, don't get me wrong. I'll tell you 2 things that ruined Raiders for me. Well, not 2 things. One thing that ruined Raiders for me a little bit was the idea that Indiana Jones is almost I can't even say that word. He's almost negligible in that movie, because if he doesn't do anything, the Nazis don't find the Ark, so it doesn't matter. And even if they find the Ark, it's the wrong Ark. So Indiana Jones almost doesn't matter in that entire movie at all. He could do nothing and stay teaching college, and nothing would have happened. Nothing would have been accomplished.
I saw the episode of The Big Bang Theory where they have this conversation and everyone gets so depressed because it's everyone's favorite movie.
It's so good, and then you realize if he just like sat on his hands and didn't do anything.
It's like, well, the Nazis would have eventually found it without Dr. Jones, finding the staff, and then they would have opened it up anyway.
They would have
died anyway. Yeah. So like, it's funny. But. So Independence
once you learn,
Day
that's knowledge that once you learn, you can't unlearn. So it's Independence Day. Welcome to Earth.
I wonder if George Lucas and Steven Spielberg watched that episode of The Big Bang Theory. I hope they watched it together and they looked at each other and were like, fucker. Like, what did you think of that? Okay, moving on.
As they count their billions of dollars.
Yes. Those two together, like, oh my God. All right. Moving on, the next matchup is the 6 seed, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, versus the 3 seed, Saving Private Ryan.
So I'm going to say this. My favorite Lord of the Rings is Two Towers. A lot of people say, oh no, Return of the King. The thing that hurt Return of the King for me personally, I hated the second to last battle when the ghost showed up and they just beat everything. That was like kind of a upset for me.
Did you ever watch the extended version?
Yeah.
They explain it better.
They do explain it better, but it's still just ghosts showing up and saving the day.
In the theatrical version, I remember hating that too. The ghosts just show up and wipe out the orcs, and I'm like, well, that's a bunch of BS. In the extended version,
I understand it more.
It's better.
But it's still no challenge when you have just basically ghosts that can't be fought, that just swarm like all the orcs and everything like that and kill them. So that was a little bit of a disappointment for me. I'm going to go Saving Private Ryan. I still love Return of the King, but Saving Private Ryan, I think, is a much better movie. Except for the end. The end of Return of the King, that's fucking emotional. For Frodo.
All right, here's our last matchup in the action region. And these are 2 big upsets that made their way here into the round of 32. We've got the 10 seed, the 300, taking on the 15 seed, the Rock.
So, I hate to say this is an easy layup. I really do. But I'm going 300. Okay. Again, I love The Rock. They're both very fun movies to watch. They're both very fun. But 300 is a lot more fun. There's barely a story. It's mindless violence.
I thought that would have been a little more of a blemish on you because of its just mindless violence.
No.
Okay.
If we're talking action movies, give me some fucking mindless violence. That's really good. If you can entertain me, I'm not going to care if there's a story or not.
Well, we're going to go to the comedy bracket now. The comedy region. Our first matchup is a huge upset. It was a play-in to even get into the tournament. Then they pulled the upset over the 1 seed. We have the 16th seed Dogma taking on the 9 seed My Cousin Vinny.
This is a tough one. This is another one I remember. And I was thinking to myself, like, I'm going to have a tough time with this one because, as I said before, I'm a Kevin Smith fanboy. I love Kevin Smith movies. But My Cousin Vinny is so fucking good. My Cousin Vinny is so good. But I got to stick with my fanboyism. I'm going to go with Dogma.
Really?
I am.
Dogma.
I'm going to go with my fanboyism.
Dogma.
I am, yeah.
The 16th seed is on
it's
to
moving
the
on.
Sweet 16.
It's moving
amazing.
on. It's
Amazing. I'm
moving
so
on.
glad.
I gotta go with my fanboyism though.
Well, fanboy, I hope you're ready.
It may be the wrong choice, but it's my choice.
I hope you're ready, fanboy, because we've got a lot of your fan coming up here. Because the next matchup is the 12th seed, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, taking on the 4th seed, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Yeah, there's like 3 fucking Kevin Smith movies in this category right
You
now.
love Kevin Smith. You love Kevin Smith.
I'm a curveball. Not a curveball you heard for a second. I'm going Life Aquatic on this one.
You do love that one, too, though.
I do love that one. Look, I love Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. But Life Aquatic is such a clever comedy, and it's Bill Murray. I'm also a bit of a Bill Murray fan.
This bracket, the comedy bracket, I just want to point out, is nothing but Kevin Smith and Bill Murray.
Basically, yeah.
Like, if I look at all these, it's either Kevin Smith or Bill Murray because you love both
Not
of
only
those
do
guys.
I love Life Aquatic, but the soundtrack to Life Aquatic is really good.
Yeah.
It's not even funny. The soundtrack's just good.
Portuguese David Bowie.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's great. It's great stuff. So I'm going Life Aquatic, 100%.
Okay.
I feel like that's one of the first movies we bonded over too. Life Aquatic. That's one of the early movies we bonded in our budding friendship.
I think so. All right, speaking of Bill Murray, we're moving on here. We've got the 6th seed Groundhog Day
Oh yeah,
taking on the 3 seed Ghostbusters.
Murray versus Murray.
I know. You love Kevin Smith. You love Murray.
Look, I love the mythology of Groundhog Day in terms of the idea, like when you figure out the backstory, that dude has been there for like millions of years and he's lived like so many different lives that you don't see because it's based on a book that was like a little bit more serious. But Ghostbusters is continuing on. Ghostbusters is the winner in that one. It absolutely is. Groundhog Day don't beat Ghostbusters.
I agree with you there. I love them both, but
Ghostbusters
wins that for me too. All right, our last matchup in the comedy bracket. We've got the 7th seed Blazing Saddles taking on the 2 seed Clerks.
Here's the problem.
Kevin Smith.
Here's the problem. I love both these movies. I love both these creators. I love Mel Brooks. I love Kevin Smith. Clerks is amazing. Blazing Saddles is fucking amazing. Blazing Saddles is a more in-your-face comedy, where Clerks is more of a dry humor kind of comedy, conversational comedy. I'm going fanboy Clerks, 100%. Blazing Saddles is my favorite Mel Brooks movie, 100%. But it don't beat Clerks, in my opinion. I love a good indie movie. Love a good, funny indie movie.
So for the Sweet 16 in the action bracket, just to preview next week's Little Boy, you've got Kevin Smith versus Bill Murray and Kevin Smith versus Bill Murray. You've got Dogma versus Life Aquatic and Ghostbusters versus Clerks. I'm excited for this. I'm excited.
Coming to blows. They're coming to blows.
For the Kevin Smith Bill Murray grudge match.
I'm gonna try. I can't guarantee there's not gonna be Kevin Smith v. Kevin Smith. I'm gonna try to not make that happen, but we'll see.
It's up to you. If it does, it does. If he dies, he dies.
We'll see. We'll see for next week. We'll see for next week.
Our final bracket of the night is the horror bracket.
This went significantly quicker than last week. I'll say that.
Because there's half as many matches. Next week's going to be even shorter. So get some content ready.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So,
Okay. The 1 seed, Alien.
what bracket is this?
This is horror.
Horror. Okay.
The 1 seed, Alien, takes on the 9 seed, Phantoms.
Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms. Phantoms don't beat Alien, though.
Fictional characters.
Phantoms does not beat Alien. Alien is the better horror movie. Look, I do like Phantoms. I'm happy that we watched it
You
together.
just recently discovered it,
Yeah.
thanks to me.
By the way, side note, I watched Trails for Fallen this past week again. I remember that movie. That was a really good, fucking good movie.
Thought so.
It didn't. I'm still glad with my choice. I'm still
Right,
glad
yeah.
with my choice, but I'm happy I remembered it because it took me a while to remember it. Even when I was watching the trailer, I'm like, I don't fucking remember this movie. And then the last,
I wish we would have watched that
the
together.
last like 20 seconds of the trailer, I was like, oh, I remember this movie now. It was really good.
movie
Yeah.
kicks ass.
It
yeah.
does kick ass. It doesn't beat the last week's choice.
Fair,
but
fair.
yeah.
All right, we've got the 5 seed, Silence of the Lambs. Sorry, a little Jim Carrey for you. Silence of the Lambs, the 5 seed, versus the 13 seed, Dawn of the Dead. And I believe we went with the 2004, not the
The Ving Rhames
1978
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because that's a more action fun one. Not anything against the old one, but the new ones, I like. Sometimes newer is better. Sometimes newer is better. Even though sometimes newer is better, though, it doesn't beat Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs is the better horror movie. I would call it more a thriller than anything else, but I think thriller kind of combines with horror very well, in my opinion. So, Silence of the Lambs, oh yeah.
Okay.
Hello, Clarice.
We've got the 6 seed, The Mummy, versus the 14th seed, 28 Days Later.
Specifically, the Brendan Fraser mummy,
Correct.
not the mummy they made. What year did the new one come out?
The one with Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
That's what I think about that one.
Also,
I don't know.
not the new mummy that they're actually going to make because they're rebooting it a third time.
Oh,
They are.
good.
That's a real thing they're doing. They're doing another reboot of the Mummy to coincide with their new Invisible Man and Wolfman shit they did. They're doing it for that. Brendan Fraser Mummy versus what was the first movie?
The 6 seed Mummy versus the 14th seed 28 Days Later.
Okay. So, I would argue The Mummy is more of an action movie than it is a horror movie in this sense, in this particular movie. 28 Days Later is an actual horror movie, but I will throw no shade to Brendan Fraser. The Mummy moves on. The Mummy moves on because it's Brendan Fraser. That's honestly the most of the reason why it's going on, because Brendan Fraser. If anybody else started in that, it would be probably 28 Days Later. So
If anybody else started that, I might have not made the bracket.
they wouldn't have 2 sequels either.
We've got the 7th seed. This is our last one, by the way.
Last
That's it.
one.
The 7th seed Beetlejuice versus the 2 seed Jurassic Park.
This is a toughie. This is the only real toughie in the horror bracket, I think. Because we talked about it last week. Horror doesn't have to mean supernatural. It can mean science fiction too, and Jurassic Park is definitely a horror movie. Here's my logic. Beetlejuice is a horror movie, but I think it's mostly a comedy. I'm going Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park, first of all, is as much as I love Michael Keaton, as much as I love that movie, I think Jurassic Park is a better movie. So I'm going Jurassic Park.
Okay. So moving on to the Sweet 16, we'll do a quick little recap here.
All right.
In the sci-fi region, we've got Terminator 2 Judgment Day, The Fifth Element, Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, and Star Wars Return of the Jedi. In the action region, moving on to the Sweet 16, we've got Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Independence Day, Saving Private Ryan, and The 300. Moving on to the Sweet 16 in the comedy region, we've got Dogma, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, Ghostbusters, and Clerks. And in our final region, the horror region, moving on to the Sweet 16, we've got Alien, Silence of the Lambs, The Mummy, and Jurassic Park. I'm excited. I'm very excited for next week.
Rounding out the plays of this week, I like how I'm doing commentary even though I'm the player in this whole.
It's okay, no.
Rounding out the plays in this week. Oh man, we got a few upsets, didn't we, Scott?
We did. We got
a few upsets.
16 seed Dogma is looking to be the Cinderella of the tournament. Beating.
I hope that glass slipper fits, man.
I do too.
Seriously,
they
honestly.
upset Back to the Future, the number 1 seed, and then My Cousin Vinny, the number 9 seed,
losing
make
out.
it to the Sweet 16. Unreal. Also, the Fifth Element, a 12 seed, moves on to the Sweet 16.
You know, they brought them up from the minor leagues, but man, did they made an impression apparently.
They took out Mad Max Fury Road in the first round, and a big upset, in my opinion, over James Cameron's Avatar tonight to move on. This has been a fun tournament. I'm looking forward to see
There's been ups and downs. There've been sideways and backwards, but man, there's been some crazy things going to happen in this tournament. I'm one of your hosts, as well as the players, Adam.
I'm Scott.
Welcome to the bracket.
Are we ending?
I think we're just ending the bracket.
Oh, right.
We're ending the bracket.
Sounds good.
I'm doing a bit here where I'm the player, but also the host. I'm doing a bit. I feel like I got to do that when that music plays. Every time you say the action category, by the way, the thing that pops in my head is Action Johnny from Venture Brothers. Oh, Action Johnny. Scott, we got a Course of Cinema to talk about.
We do.
Course of Cinema. It was your pick this time.
I know, and I'm really excited. I've been wanting to show you this movie for some time. Didn't know where I could find it. Found it on the Tubi.
It's fucking Tubi, man.
Tubi for the win.
I guess Tubi for the win. What did we watch last week?
I had you watch 12 Angry Men, a courtroom drama. Impact, it said.
Yeah. Playing the trailer.
Okay.
Music started. So.
Okay. There's old Henry Fonda.
This movie is, first of all, old movie, obviously. All black and white, because it's times. Purely, not even a courtroom drama. This movie is a drama with the jury as they're trying to make their verdict. For anybody who does not know what is going on. Basically, this kid is being accused of murdering his father, and the jurors get back to the room. Everybody's like, he's guilty, he's obviously guilty. One person, Henry Fonda, says, I don't think he's guilty.
He didn't say, I don't think he's guilty. He just basically says, I don't know.
Yeah.
And how the American judicial system
not
works.
guilty. He said not guilty at first. And then when people question him, he's like, I just don't know. I'm just asking questions.
To find someone guilty, you must not have any reasonable doubt.
It's got to be unanimous. Yeah.
Right.
This movie entirely takes place back in the jurors'
jury room, I guess.
Room.
Yeah.
So we were talking about it last week when we were watching, and I was while I was watching, I was like, I don't mean to be this like retro hipster kind of dude, but movies back in the day, around this time, really had to rely not only on good acting, but had to rely on good script and just good atmosphere. And this movie had it. Like there were moments like for example, like it's taking place during like the spring and summer, so like everybody's sweating in the room. It's pre like AC and everywhere and everything like that. So they had like a fan and they were opening windows, and then it's just like everybody acting their fucking ass off in this movie. There's no like flashiness to it. It's purely like takes place in this one room, and it's so fucking good. Like it is one of like I would say it's one of the all-time classic movies you should watch as a cinema lover, honestly.
If you're a cinephile like you and I are, it's a must-watch. That's why I was surprised you had never seen it.
I probably didn't watch it probably because I was like, I'd heard about it, but it was black and white. I'm like, what am I missing and everything like that. I'm just not going to watch it. I'm glad you made me watch it because, the acting in this movie, they had to rely on good acting back in the day. There's no like CGI. There's no action.
There's very little.
It's very much like an atmospheric. And this is 2 movies in a row that we picked that were based on plays. They're based on stage plays.
True. Yes, you're right.
The performances in this movie were amazing because like you had Henry Fonda, who is the one juror who is like, look, I just don't know. Like there are things that are questionable about this stuff, and everybody's like, it has to do with like prejudice and racism and classism and everything like that, because this kid's like a poor kid, clearly he's from the wrong side of the tracks, so clearly he must have done it because that's what they do over there, and it's just a movie about this one guy slowly over the course of like an hour and a half in the movie whittling these guys down, not to convince them that he's right, but to convince them to question whether or not they're right that he's guilty. And that's what it is. That's the entire movie. He's not trying to make these guys think that he is innocent. He's just trying to make them question why they are just immediately snap judgment why he's guilty. And slowly he erodes them to the point, basically to his side, where they're like, look, the evidence isn't clear. It just isn't. There's one dude, I remember I was talking about this last week because I was really drunk. I was like, I'm going to fucking laugh. This dude's a robot, like a real robot. There's one guy who's wearing glasses where he's just very much like a robotic.
He's the only one who never took his suit jacket off.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't you sweat?
Yeah, he had no sweat. And I'm like, he's a robot. This is a secret sci-fi movie. He's a robot right there. Obviously he wasn't, but like,
that would have been a twist.
What a twist.
That's the remake. That's M. Night Shyamalan's 12 Angry Men.
And they look out the windows like, this is all just a screen. And they take the screen down. And it's like an apocalypse back there. No, it's if you love movies and you love drama and dialogue, you need to watch this movie. Especially today. I think in the environment that we exist today, this is an important movie because we exist in a very hostile environment, especially towards people that you might consider, quote, on the wrong side of the tracks. Poor people, maybe people of like a different color or different ethnicity that you're like, oh, clearly they must be guilty because of this or that and the other. I think this movie plays today, honestly. Like this movie like plays to the culture that we exist in today. That's like a counterculture to what's going on with a lot of people, where it's like, oh, clearly like, these people must be guilty because they look like this. I not to bring it back to politics, but we've been existing in a world right now where a lot of people are being dragged off the street and being arrested for being, part of some illegal gang in another country because they're immigrants, because of their like tattoos and stuff like that. Well, why? What is that the reason why you're making these people like acting as these people are guilty? Like, no, like that. This movie plays today. Like, you got to ask questions. So fucking good, so good.
I'm really glad you liked it. So another cool thing about this, I think I mentioned this on the show before, and I know I told you this. I'm going back, and I started watching from the beginning. I've seen a lot of these episodes, but I've never watched them in order. Dick Wolf's show, Law and Order SVU.
Dude has about like 30 shows.
I know,
right now, so.
But specifically SVU was always one of my favorite ones, and I've seen a lot of the episodes, but I've just jumped around watching them. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go back, and it's a good one to just put on.
Yeah,
and like it's usually
it's a good background.
It's like
show.
A killer of the week too. So
it's a good background show when you're cleaning the house or something like that. It's
what's
one of
it,
those
Christopher Maloney, Mariska Hargitay. Like it's a really good show. I like Dick Wolf. He does all these.
Yeah.
He does a lot of the Law and Orders and a lot of the other ones. But there's 26 seasons of this show. I'm on like season 10, but I'm kind of into it. I'm really digging it. Like I feel like I could take the bar exam right now. like that's how much I've been watching the show. But yeah, so watching that and that with watching this, I want to be in that kind of. We talked about how I had jury duty.
You've been saying for years, like, I want jury duty so bad. I want to be on the jury. I want
to be on that. I don't want to be on something.
You want to be the 12th man is what you want to be. You want to be the one guy who's like not guilty. Let me tell you why.
I do. I want to be that guy.
You want to be in a fuck. Why didn't you?
I want to be Henry Fonda.
Why didn't you just be in? I think we all want to be Henry Fonda.
Yeah.
Why don't you be like an actor? Because that's the only way you're going to get that, dude. I have a feeling that if that were today, it'd be more 50-50 split. A little more 50-50.
Be a hung jury.
A little bit, yeah. I would say this. I love the old man in this movie. The old, like, dirty old man in this movie. He's, like, old as dirt. He was like one of the early ones. Like, you know what? He makes sense.
I think he was the second one to flip.
Yeah, he was like, he makes a lot of sense, dude. Like, I don't know, like, you know what? I was saying guilty, but I'll be honest with you. He's convincing me. I get it now. So, a lot of close-ups. Like, to their face and everything.
Interesting camera work, too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really happy you enjoyed it. Maybe I'll play some more classics for you coming up here.
I like some good classics.
Just some
You've
classics.
introduced me a few ones. That one, the samurai one, that was a good one too. So, from a while back.
Yeah.
You don't remember the name, neither do I.
13 Samurai? Is
There it is.
that the one I showed you?
Yeah, the old black and white samurai one.
It's a really good one.
Really good one.
It's basically Star Wars.
It is.
Okay.
It is literally Star Wars, basically.
Okay.
All right, Scott, it's my turn to pick.
All right.
I've decided we're gonna go to one of the few westerns you've never watched that I have.
Ooh, a Western.
We're going Western wise. This is John Candy's last movie.
Oh,
The
I love
last
John Candy.
movie he ever filmed, ever. It is a comedy. It's also a kind of a star-studded cast. We're gonna watch. It's on Peacock. Wagons East.
I've never seen it.
Wagons East. We're gonna watch starring John Candy. Wagons East. You're gonna recognize a lot of people in this movie. I think.
Okay.
A lot of people. It's a comedy. Like I said, it's a Western, but it is a comedy. Obviously, because John Candy. So
I'm looking forward to it. We got some time, huh?
nah.
Nah?
Technically, this is the runtime. We typically go longer.
Oh.
About an hour is the runtime.
I thought we were like closer to an hour and a half.
When we go long, yeah.
Talk about long. It's been a
Ladies.
long night. We got a late start. I guess we can call it a show.
Scott,
Adam,
how can the people get hold of For Distraction?
beat me to it.
I introduced, you close.
You know
us
what?
out.
We should record a bumper. I've always said that, and you keep shutting me down with the bumper idea.
No, let's do it. We can do it.
We should just like record ourselves one time, like the best ultimate rundown of how they can get a hold of us, and then just push the button and let it play.
We can do it. I got intro, outro. We can do bumper right there.
Let's do a bumper. If you
But
wanna
until we get the bumper,
I'm doing it right now. God, chill. If you want to get a hold of us at For Your Distraction, you can shoot us an email, foryourdistraction@gmail.com. You can find us on social media. We are on Facebook. Search for Your Distraction on Facebook. Like our page. We post the links to when we go live and all of our shows on, I guess, YouTube.
yes.
Which you can find us on YouTube too.
Post it on Facebook as well. I post links
Post
to
it
Facebook
all on Facebook.
at the night when we go live.
As of this moment, we are still on Twitter, X,
Always Twitter.
always Twitter.
Always Twitter.
You can tweet us at podcast FYD. Not as active on there as we once were, just because of the way, things are.
Politics. Elon Musk doesn't like us anymore.
Yeah,
so.
but we also kind of you did the slowdown on Facebook because you were mad at Zuck. I'm mad at Musk.
I'm
He's
just
mad at
not willing
Zuck.
to live stream. You're the social media manager.
Yeah.
You post on Facebook.
I do. I still utilize Facebook. I kind of got off at X, but maybe I don't know. We'll see where the road takes us.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to our show, you can listen to us just about anywhere you get your podcasts. We are on Podbean. We are on Spotify. We are on Google Play. We are on iTunes. Anywhere you get your podcast, you'll find For Your Distraction. As I alluded to earlier, we are on YouTube. You can search for Your Distraction on there. We post the links to our YouTube channel on our Facebook page. Adam has the links to in all the show notes.
It's in the description right here.
Descriptions,
on the live
yes.
stream.
Yes.
Stick your thumb up your ass. You'll find us.
There you go. Our personal stuff, TikTok. Adam's been working hard on the TikTok videos.
I've been trying.
I post them on my personal TikTok account.
I post them on mine too.
Please follow both of us on TikTok. I am Scotty Knows with a Z. You are
I'm Hot Takes.
Hot Takes.
Thinking about changing that.
That's good.
Hot Takes was good whenever I was thinking about being like a political warrior, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not really posting on there for anything but the podcast.
Why don't you post political warrior stuff
I
on
don't have
there?
fucking time, dude. I'm making the TikToks for the
listen to
show.
him.
I've got fucking work to do. I'm working out. Like, I don't have time.
So you can
Nobody cares
also,
about my political takes anyway outside this podcast, so...
I'm still posting a lot on Blue Sky. I love Blue Sky. I just need more people to follow me on Blue Sky because my content is A+.
I'm posting a little bit on there occasionally.
I feel my content on Blue Sky is A+, and nobody's seeing it. I'm also Scotty Knows on Blue Sky, and
Same.
we'll post the links.
I think I'm Adam's Hot Takes on Blue Sky.
You're Adam's Hot Takes, yes.
Yeah, I think
Adam's
I am.
Hot Takes on Blue Sky. We are a member of the Electronic Media Collective. Head on over to the electronicmediacollective.com. You'll find our show there and a ton of other great shows. You should definitely check them out. Adam,
Scott.
I've been listening to podcasts this week at work.
Scott. Oh,
Specifically, ours.
ours? Really?
Yeah, I pulled up Podbean, and it's just, I was getting sick of listening to music all the time, which I still love listening to music, but I took a break from it, and I just started listening. Some of our older shows, going back in the archives.
Old beans.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. Fun stuff.
Fun stuff, yeah. You can find all the old stuff, too. It's poured over to Podbean if you want to listen to also the raw, uncircumcised version of For Distraction before we got professional, I guess. Professional.
And don't forget about Patreon.
That's right. Patreon.com/4distraction. You can find us on there. It's $1 a month to subscribe. We post bonus episodes, not every Saturday night, but, most Saturday nights we do a bonus episode, roughly, 45 minutes to an hour of just bonus stuff if you want to listen to us on there. All proceeds from Patreon, every single cent go towards improving the show. Look at this backdrop. It's nothing but green. If you have the technical know-how, you can green screen whatever you want back here. Like, look, you want me jerking off to a big dick right here? There it is right there. All right, you could do that if you want, but we want to put stuff back there, okay? It's a blank wall. It's a blank canvas. We want to put stuff back there. All proceeds go into improving the show.
Big things are coming.
Big things are coming. Scott wasn't looking at the joke. He was looking down.
I know. I was reading. I could see what you were doing. You got to be careful with the haunted fly swatter, though.
The haunted fly swatter, man. That's good.
That's all we got going on for us right now.
Unfortunately,
It's like,
that's the saddest thing in the
so
world.
pathetic.
It's the saddest thing in the world. The only thing we have going for us is the haunted fly swatter.